when you're ready. I'm good? Okay, everyone? Everyone? Hello? I'd like to call this meeting to order. Thank you very much. It's our June 12th, 2024 Board of Ed meeting. Thank you all for being here. Is this blasting back at me? Thanks for being here. Nice crowd, loving it. I need to read the fire evacuation procedure. In case of a fire, would everyone please follow the exit signs to the outside of the building? Please stay completely clear of the building to provide space for any fire department vehicles. I also want to read the public participation reminder. Excuse me. Persons wishing to address the board must sign up prior to the start of the public participation. Speakers must register on the form provided by the district at the entrance of the boardroom to maintain a first-come, first-served process. For purposes of following up with speakers, the speakers must provide their name, address, telephone number, and/or email address. To limit comments to matters which may be properly discussed during public participation, the speakers will provide the topics. Any group or organization wishing to address the board must identify a single spokesperson. Thank you for that. Now, if you could all stand for a moment of silence, please. Thank you. Elizabeth, will you lead us tonight in the pledge? Thanks. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you, Elizabeth. Okay, we're not finished yet, everyone. Pay attention. Okay, first, a little bit of things we need to do here. I need a motion to approve this evening's agenda, please. Elizabeth, second. Christopher? Any comments or questions, board members? Seeing none, all in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Abstentions? Motion carried. Thank you. Okay, this is why we're here. Presentations, recognitions. We're going to do the permanent art collection, and it's Joe Festaya. Did I do that right? Okay. Come on up. Thanks.
Hi, everyone. Thank you. All right. I'll try and keep this short. I only have 5 pages here, so. All right, so it's hard to believe that another school year is in the books and we're here to honor the inductees to the Victor Permanent Art Collection. It's easy to say that these young artists are talented, and they are, but we should take a moment to take a closer look at their work and ask ourselves, how did they create those amazing pieces? And those pieces, if you haven't had a chance, those are the ones that are in the hallway right up over here. How many times did they encounter difficulty, make mistakes, practice with new and sometimes unusual materials? Techniques. How many decisions did they have to make for each step of the way? And probably the most difficult parts, certainly for our older students, is how many times did they have to listen to constructive criticism? So as they say, talent is 10% inspiration and 90% perspiration. These young artists have worked hard, persevered, and without a doubt they've earned their place within the permanent collection. So tonight I have the honor of presenting not only one of my students, but also for Mrs. Belcofini and Mrs. Rosati, who are not able to be here tonight. They have kids who are attending end-of-year ceremonies of their own. So first up, I'd like to invite Vika Barnum to come down. She's Mrs. Belcofini's student. So Vika, congratulations. All right. So Vika created a self-portrait based on the artist Amedeo Modigliani. He's an Italian artist famous for adding very long necks to his portraits. Mrs. Belcofini says, "It's been a pleasure to have Vika's creativity and talent in our art room this school year at the ECS. Vika approaches every project with focus and dedication, along with making beautiful pieces of art. Vika is respectful, responsible, and an engaged artist. It's with great enthusiasm that we honor such a well-deserving student for her beautiful contribution to our district's permanent collection. Congratulations, Vika. You can go back. All right, next up is Calliope Gitsis, who is one of my students at the VPS. Congratulations, Calliope. This is your certificate. All right. Calliope's a second grader in our multi-age program. Calliope created her beautiful watercolor of a toucan as part of our study of Henry Rousseau. Henry Rousseau is a French painter famous for his blending of over 32 shades of green and for his paintings of animals in the jungle, and I emphasize in, because his animals are not in front of the jungle or next to it, but they are in it. So Calliope was challenged with having to place her toucan in the jungle with overlapping foliage in front of and behind hers, as well as blending all of those great colors. So I hope you have a chance to take a look at her amazing toucan. So congratulations, Calliope. And finally for me, I have the honor of introducing Nora Bresnan, who is a student in the 5th grade at the VIS. She's a student of Mrs. Rosati. Can Nora come on down? So Mrs. Rosati says, neurographic art takes advantage of mindfulness and meditation to connect our minds to our bodies as we explore the relationship between line, shapes, and colors. Nora created this piece by using small stones, Sharpie markers, and watercolor paints. The color choices and design details she used to create wonderful movement and unity in her work. Congratulations, Nora. All right. And next up from the junior high is Christy Gordon.
Hi, everybody. From the junior high, our artist, Abby Houghton, if you would come down. Abby's an 8th grader in the junior high. And Abby started making art in the junior high in her 7th grade year. I remember she won the student council t-shirt design contest. And I didn't know her. I'm like, oh, who's this 7th grader? And then I was lucky enough to have her in my classroom. And Abby's the kind of artist that came in with a lot of skill already and then just rose her own bar as well as the bar of the students around her. And she's always got such a fun, pleasant way about the pretty hard work that she does. And her piece out there is the cow. It's very photorealistic. The assignment was a grid project in colored pencil, learning a lot of new techniques, and she aced it. She really did a really nice job. Good job, Abby.
Thank you.
Okay, you get. Oh, and I also want to say, because so many of the kids in this room were my students before, congratulations to all the sports kids in here. And then next, speaking of high school kids, come on up, Mr. Adam Spector for the high school.
Hi, everyone. I'd like to call Kiko Tuttle. I would like to recognize Kiko for her excellent artwork this year and for having her work chosen for the permanent collection. Kiko's piece is a beautiful colored pencil drawing of a coral reef and a sea turtle. It is unbelievably detailed and carefully rendered. Kiko is a very skilled artist and an extremely hard worker, but more importantly, she cares about those around her and is a support person for her peers. We have a lot of work time in Drawing and Painting 1 as an upper-level elective course. My desk is very close to where Kiko sits, and I can overhear the conversations at her table. Just about every class, in a good way, just about every class, I hear her classmates asking her for help or her opinion about their artwork. And in her quiet, kind way, Kiko gives very thoughtful advice and encouragement. Kiko is exceptional as an artist, as a student, and as a human being. Kiko, congratulations, well done. I'd like to call all of the award recipients down for a group photo, please.
Okay, thank you, artists. Follow your passions and embrace those rewards. You're going to love it. Next up is Winter Guard, New York State Northeast Color Guard Circuit State Champions. Julia Salon, please.
Okay, so they're coming up, but I just want to say thank you to the board for allowing us to come and speak about our amazing season. We have about 17 members ranging from grade 7 through 12th grade, all in the varsity level team. We have a lot of staff members, so Lindy Rohr is with us. We have Michelle Bills, Erin Whipple, Rachel, and Nafis. They are all the masterminds behind our production. So this is a unique season with many opportunities for this talented group of students and staff. The show was called A Vibrant City, so it was set in the streets of New Orleans. We had a lot of lampposts, Mardi Gras themed, feather boas, a lot of fun things. And I think the most important thing is after 12-hour practices every week, their hard work and season really paid off. We had an undefeated local season competing all over Western New York. We traveled to Bethlehem, Pennsylvania, competed in the East Coast Power Regional against 30 guards and placed in the top 10, which is pretty phenomenal. And then we won the New York State Northeast Color Guard Circuit Championship. So that was a huge accomplishment. And then we were able to travel to Dayton, Ohio to compete in our World Championships where we competed against 120 guards from across the world. So this season has been by far one of our favorite seasons. So I'm just happy to have them here and congratulate them on their phenomenal work. And I graduated and Lindy graduated from Victor in this program. So we're happy to say that we're continuing to strive for excellence, determination, and perseverance. So we are very happy for that season. So. Are you getting in it? Oh, I guess I'm getting it.
Well, congratulations, champions. Another wonderful group to honor. Okay, we have so many sports teams. I'm going to leave it up to Dewey Weimer to introduce them all.
Welcome, everyone. Thank you, Mr. DeLucia. First of all, congratulations to the art recipients. Fantastic artwork out there. Really, really amazing. Congrats to Winter and Color Guard. We get to see them and hear them frequently while we're at our practices and contests. Thank you to the Board of Education, Dr. Terranova, Kim, Liz, and Maureen for putting this together. Thank you so much. Coaches and colleagues, and then last but certainly not least, our student athletes. Thank you for being here. So we're going to invite up teams at a time, one team at a time. We're going to have a group photo with that team, and then we'll go to the next team. It's just too many kids to have in here at one time, so this is great. And by the way, seeing Libby and Jackson in here, I feel like we got a student section ready to go. It looks like it right now. All right, so we're going to start with baseball. Baseball, come on down. Come on down here, guys. Am I off script? Okay. File in. So I'm going to speak a little bit about the baseball team here. Then I'll hand it over to Coach Rucker and Lanny. Wow, what a season. What a team. 20-6. 26 games this year. That's crazy. First in Monroe County. First in Class AA Section 5. Far West Regional Champs. 92.48 cumulative GPA, so they're smart. They're winning in the classrooms, too. What are you laughing at? That's good, man. They had a great run, made it to the state Final Four. Excellent game down there in Binghamton, great facility. And then Coach Rucker was the Division I Monroe County and the Class AA Coach of the Year. So, Coach Rucker, congrats. Coach Rucker, everybody. Thank you.
Okay, thanks so much. What a talented group here, group of performers, athletes, coaches. I want to just say that I'm so grateful for the support of this school community. I started here in 1995 coaching this baseball team, the varsity coach, and this is where we used to have Meet the Coach night. So it's come full circle. Such great support from the community, the Board of Education, Dr. T, the athletic department, my assistant coaches. I've had guys with me for a long, long time in my younger levels. So I can't give enough gratitude to all those people and all the support. So thank you very much. So proud of this team. We started OTAs in January, and we were at MCC just talking about, hey, we've been to the finals twice. This is the third time we might have a chance. Let's get it done this time. And I'm not sure we all believed we could do it, but as the season rolled on, we won a really tough league, that Division I Monroe County League with an 8-2 record. Not to mention we beat Fairport twice, who won the state championship. Little bittersweet because my nephew is the shortstop on Fairport's team. But anyways, rolling on, we got into the sectional tournament as the number 1 seed. It was a 17-team tournament, and once we got through that semifinal game, that I got a little heated and almost got tossed, but these guys responded, and we used that momentum, and we went pedal to the metal. And we just cruised through the sectional finals. What a great event that was to be in front of our community again for the third time. And I can't say enough about the student section that shows up at our games and gives us a lot of juice. That was awesome. When I'm coaching baseball, I'm usually really focused, and my wife says that's kind of a problem, but just to look and take a moment to see all the people in the crowd and all the support, that just warms my heart. And these guys knew that they had so much support, and we really played our best ball in that sectional finals, and then we rolled into Buffalo and showed them what Section 5 baseball was all about there too, and we won that regional championship. We moved on to the Binghamton State Tournament, and I can't say enough about these guys. Just one quick story. We stopped at Wegmans to eat for lunch, and our guys made such an impact on one of the workers there just because how engaging they were, polite. She came to the game and watched our whole game. She had to pick her husband up during the game, picked him up, came back to the game. We went to extra innings. The only thing that could stop us was just, a team that was really good and a bad break. But these guys gave it their all. I'm so proud of them and my coaches. So thank you very much. All right, thank you.
Hey guys, give this I'm going back to golf. I'll get back on with golf. Yeah. Congrats again, guys. Yeah, it was a heartbreaker and a great game. Now we're going to move on to our golf program. Golfers, come on down. Coach Sousa. The feared Blue Devils in the golf world. Here they are. Come on down, yeah. All right, so here we are, boys golf program. Monroe County champs. Section 5, AA champs. 20-1 on the season. And a new Section 5 team score of 357, which beats our previous record that we held by 7 strokes. Phenomenal, absolutely phenomenal. And a 94.81 GPA right here. Great job. Coach Sousa, everybody. Coach Sousa.
Before I talk about the awesome gentleman to my right, I definitely want to thank the Board of Education and Dr. Terranova for doing these recognitions. It's really special. Thank you to Dewey and the cast in the athletic office. They do a great job for us. Congratulations to the art winners tonight, and obviously the other athletes and students in the building and the other coaching staffs as well. We're super proud to be part of the culture, the athletic culture here. So, and a shout out to the girls lacrosse team. I was part of their next level coaching group, so Coach Haggerty and her staff. I got to witness their last practice on Corbett Field before they saddled up to go down to the state tournament and win it all. So pretty special to be a part of that. And definitely, before I talk about them, congratulations to my colleagues who are receiving tenure tonight. That is a... That's a super special night in your teaching career, so congratulations on getting to this point. I remember that night roughly 13 years ago, so congratulations. The guy standing to my right, like Dewey said, 20-1. A lot of these guys have been part of the team since we returned to golf from COVID, and they have actually amassed an 82-2-1 record over the course of the last 4 years. They've won 3 of the last 4 Class AA sectional championships, and like Dewey said, we set a record in 2022 of 364, and then this year, which was probably a record we didn't think would be broken by anybody, we ended up breaking it ourselves, shooting 357, which is -3 as a high school golf team. Pretty ridiculous. So excited to see the accomplishments that these guys have put forth over the course of the year. The sectional finals was versus McQuaid. Sorry, Dr. Parks. They beat us at Oak Hill. We beat them at Ravenwood, and they were the 1 seed. We were the 2 seed. And just quickly, through the first 3 holes, we were down 6 shots. And then through the next 3, we were down 1 shot, and then at the turn, we were tied dead even. Then we took a 2-shot lead through 12, a 3-shot lead through 15, and then it was down to 2 when Brody Burgess and Carson French, who were in our anchor group, approached the 18th tee. The word got back to them, either from Coach Bailey, who I want to thank, or Coach Wiest, that with the ball in hand, we had a 2-shot lead, and they got it done, and we ended up winning 384 to 385. So if you think about winning by 1 stroke, when you're playing with your buddies, that's a slim margin of victory. When you have 6-on-6, that's an even more slim margin of victory. And if we, for some reason, had tied, we had the tiebreaker as well in our back pocket as well. So congratulations, guys. There's 5 seniors that have been a part of this program for a combined 17 years, and they have just put full trust in us as coaches, full trust in each other as teammates, and I couldn't be more thankful and proud to be the coach of this team for 15 years. So congratulations to everybody here tonight. Thank you so much for all the support. We appreciate it.
Those are very nice. Everybody says that. Okay, we're going to shift to our track and field program. So I'm going to ask Coach Goodell, Therese Davis, Emma Goodell, and Rylan Fehrenbach to come on down, please. Cheer. So as they're heading down, our program, our track and field program, both indoor and outdoor, continues to grow under the leadership of Coach Goodell. And they continue to improve not only in their performance as individuals, but as a team. So we have 3 Class 1A champions up here, and both teams are scholar athlete teams. I'm going to turn it over to Coach Goodell.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Weimer. Before I get into talking about these 3, I'd like to thank the Board of Education, administration for their support with our programs. As Dewey said, we are growing in numbers every year, and with that comes continued support that we need from the district, and you've been there every step of the way the last 2 to 3 seasons. Also like to congratulate all the athletic teams here. It's an awesome feeling working here at Victor and being in the phys ed department, getting to share stories with the coaching staff and hear the athletes from the other teams in class talk about their experiences and their journeys, and just to share that experience. It's a privilege to come to work every day just to be a part of that. So congratulations to those teams. What a great job our coaching staff and athletes have done this season. Now on to track and field. Talking about these 3 up here. Therese Davis, first of all, as Dewey mentioned, won the Class A1 title in the triple jump. Then went on to the state championship and placed 3rd in the Division I state championship, breaking our school record with a leap of 47 feet, 1.5 inches. Congratulations to you, Therese. Emma Goodell, next in line. Yep, she lives in my house. But Emma, I'd like to, she's been here before. Congratulate her on her season she's had. She continued a tough unbeaten streak as a hurdler between indoor and outdoor, was not defeated in the sprint hurdles in Section 5. Had to go to the States to get her first loss of the season, but she's done a great job closing in on a school record as well. Won both the 400-meter hurdle and 100-meter hurdle sectional titles, and represented Victor at the state meet in both events as well. Congratulations, Em. And then Rylan Fehrenbach joined us late in the season, but we're so glad she did. She's just a fantastic athlete. Those of you that watched her play soccer and basketball. As a first-year track athlete, chose to do the most difficult event area, the pentathlon, which encompasses 5 events, and she did it well, winning the sectional championship. And we were joking in health class, and she's like, yeah, I want to be a sectional champ. It's like, okay, one step at a time. And she came out and she did it. Impressive. We look forward to seeing her next year. Congrats, Rylan. Again, I'd like to thank everybody again for supporting our track program over the years. Thank you.
Moving back onto the lacrosse field, we're going to have the boys lacrosse program, and Coach Stone, come on up. So as we're coming down, another Monroe County first place team, Class B champions in Section 5, Far West champs, 18-4 on the year, and the New York State runner-up in a heartbreaker this past weekend, and second year in a row, but heads held high. And when I asked, I wasn't able to make it. I was at the girls' game at that time. When I asked how is the team doing, from someone down there, they said that they're demonstrating so much class and respect, and so proud of them. So that's how I feel as well. So proud of this team. 92.46 GPA. There's a theme there. Again, they're winning in the classroom. And Coach Stone right here, by the way, Coach of the Year for Section 5, Class B. Coach Stone, come on up.
Good evening, everybody. We're back again. It seems like we were here last year. There was all the hang-ups with the atmosphere, the wildfires, and all that. And we had a little bit of drama leading up to making our trip this weekend. We'll talk about in a little bit. But first of all, I want to say thank you and express my gratitude to the Board of Education, Dr. Terranova, our athletic department, who I've exhausted throughout the spring, no doubt about it. So thank you very much for all your support with that. I want to say congratulations to all the artists who put their talents out there on display permanently that are going to be out there forever after. Our Winter Guard participants, the golf team, the baseball team. 3 in a row, ladies, congratulations. I know you're coming up here next in just a bit, but congratulations, that's fantastic. And our track athletes as well, congratulations on a fantastic spring. We've got an incredible community, no doubt about it, and everything that we do comes from the support and the energy that the community gives us, no doubt about it. And I'll go right back to St. John Fisher to be able to turn around. I know Coach Rucker had talked about being hyper-focused on the field, but to take a peek behind you and see baseball athletes lined up, the golf team lined up, the tennis everybody just right there along the edge before they kick you back to where the seating's supposed to be. It's pretty special, so thank you very much. Another quick shout out, our booster club is phenomenal. And going back to the days before our trip down to the island, we didn't have a bus. And at the 11th hour, we finally got one. And everybody kind of took a deep breath and sigh of relief, and one less thing to worry about. Everybody was kind of exhausted with it. And then driving in, I think it was 20 to 7 Friday morning before we had to leave, my phone's buzzing, hands-free, by the way, and your bus has been in an accident. I'm looking around in traffic. I thought somebody was pranking me. I had no idea what was going on. But sure enough, the bus had been in an accident. And we had a deadline. We had a practice we had to get to. We had a team dinner we had to get to. And we just wanted to be ready to compete. And our boosters, our community rallied, basically Apollo 13. Within about 10 minutes, we had a convoy of parents and everybody on the road to Long Island in a heartbeat. And we got there, and we were hopeful that was going to be the hardest part of the day, but we knew the competition was going to be great, and it was a game for the ages. If you saw it, I know these guys are going to remember it forever after when they come back to alumni events, or they come back to school functions, or they're getting together for weddings and births and all those things. And it didn't end up the way we wanted to, but there's certainly a new appreciation for 0.8 of a second, no doubt about it. But either way, I can't be any more proud of this group and what they did. You look at the 4 losses we had, 3 of them were to state champions, and the other one was to state finalist. So it just demonstrates that we're ready to compete anytime, anywhere. We had a lot of spots to fill when you graduate over 20 from the year before, you got to figure things out. And we jumped right into the fire. We got punched in the mouth our first game during our spring break trip. We got kicked around a little bit during our second one, and then our season. I guess if I had to think of a simile, kind of like a glacier, slow, powerful. It built that momentum, and we had a little bit of a stumble at the end of the regular season, and then we started putting the pieces together. And again, all but 0.8 of a second. We're state champs, but we're going to put the pieces back together and go back at it next year. So, again, thank you for everything. Thank you to these guys, especially our seniors that are going to be moving on. Our my assistant coaches, Coach Pez is here tonight. Coach Fodor wasn't able to be here. He's dealing with a family emergency of sorts out in New Mexico. Jamie Trimboli, he's just busy with a professional life, extremely successful. Certainly grateful for all those guys and our community as well. So thank you.
Last but certainly not least, girls lacrosse. Coach Haggerty, come on up. Coach Dowie, come on up. So as they're coming on up, just a few things to say about this team. Arguably, maybe not so much arguably, one of the strongest programs at Victor in the past 10 years, past decade. 19-3 this year. They ended on a 14-game win streak. First in Monroe County, Class B champs. 3 times New York State Class B champs. It's the second time in school history that's ever happened for a spring program, and only the 6th time in New York State history for a girls lacrosse program. Numerous individual accolades. Again, winning in the classroom, 95.61 cumulative GPA. I also want to congratulate our amazing staff on an incredible season. Coach Smith, she's not here. Coach Smith is not able to be here. However, she's been solid as a rock, right? So 16 years in this program, and she's been at the varsity level the past 2 years, and she's just been phenomenal. Head coach Jen Haggerty behind me, outstanding first year at the helm. Her desire to learn, grow, and allow her players to be part of the process and to have the freedom to be part of that process was instrumental in this team's success, and I can't be more excited to see what the future holds for this squad. So congratulations, girls, and Coach Haggerty.
Thank you. Thank you, Dewey. Pardon me. First, I'd like to congratulate the artist and the color guard, all of the other teams. It was pretty epic this spring to have 4 teams going to winning sectionals all at the same time. Baseball, then boys lacrosse, then golf, girls lacrosse, and track and field had a bunch of athletes. And so it was pretty fun. As Trevor said, we collaborated a lot on text and congratulating each other, and that was a really great thing. I would first like to start by thanking the Board of Education, Dr. Terranova, Mr. Weimer, Mike Ferrari, and the whole athletic office. Again, like Dan said, between the boys lacrosse and the girls lacrosse, I think we've exhausted the athletic office many a day. I would also like to thank my assistants, all of the administrators, and all of our supporters. It's an honor to be here, and we do appreciate all of your support and everything that you do for us. So I'm just going to tell a little bit about, I was going to give the whole record, except for Dewey already did that. So I guess I'm just going to freelance, and I will tell you a few things that we did this year. that were really important to this team and I think brought us to the end. As Dewey mentioned, I was a brand new I've been in the program for a number of years, but I was a first-year head coach. I was given the most talented group of young ladies you could ever see. We did have a lot of different personalities, different mindsets. We started the year, and the very first thing that they would yell in a huddle was grit. They'd say grit on 3, and that was it. And so the definition of grit is passion and perseverance, and it leads to excellence. And every single day, these girls had passion and perseverance. They never one practice can I recall that they didn't show up game speed every day. I mean, I don't even think it was till like 2 weeks ago that they asked if they could even have water. So on a couple hot days that we had. We also did something really amazing because we were a new group of people and I was leading differently probably than they had been led before. Like Dewey said, I like the student-led thing. I like to collaborate with my athletes and say, is this working? Is this not working? So I was a little bit different type of coach than they had. I did take them to the University of Rochester where we went with Dr. Craig Seifer. He's a sports psychologist. And we talked a lot about mindset and how we want to be playing in the green and not in the red. The green is composure. Well, there's yellow, which is really, really sluggish. And then there's green, which is composure. And then there's red, which is pretty frantic. We're a really great team of athletes, but we tended to go into the red a lot. And every time we went in the red, we weren't either playing as a team or whatever. So we worked a lot throughout the season talking about that, really talking about that in our huddles. Like before we got onto the field, we would say, we got to stay green, we got to stay green. We would each try to talk to each other about controlling the controllables, which are what we can do as athletes to play our best, to sleep, to hydrate, to do everything that we could do to be the best athletes and not worry about the uncontrollables, which include like the refs, the weather, things like that. So a lot of those things I think contributed to our success, especially I'll take you to the semifinal game against West Islip on last Friday at state championships. We were up by 6, I think, and we had some bad luck and some yellow cards, and we went into the red, let me tell you. These kids, the other team scored 5 goals on us in the last 2 minutes. We won by 1. We went back to the hotel, and we were shocked. So we all slept on it, and the next morning, right before our championship game, we had a team meeting, as we always do. We rolled out the scout for what we were going to do in the game, but the biggest part of the scout was we were going to not go in the red. And I told them, I said, yesterday we went red, and they knew. And so they kept their composure. They went to play West Genesee. They stayed composed the whole entire game, and we came out champions. And so grit and mindset, that was our goal this season. So congratulations.
Okay, again, congratulations to our artists and all our champions. Let's give it up one more time for all these. Now I'll ask Dr. Terranova to come up and talk about our tenure recipients, these talented folks we have.
Thank you for that applause. I appreciate it. How's everybody doing tonight? So now we're going to actually recognize, I know kids are leaving, but we need to recognize, and it's very appropriate to recognize our teachers who had such an impact on all of our kids. In Victor, tenure is not a given, it's earned, and it signifies a deep respect between administration and the teaching staff, a respect that really signifies an excellent, not just in teaching and learning, but our staff's social emotional skills to be able to collaborate, not only with one another, but certainly with families and with children. So this is a great opportunity to recognize some amazing teachers. There's a couple that aren't here tonight, so I'll say their names, and then we'll go through the list that I believe of individuals that are here, but I definitely want to recognize everyone. So first off, I want to recognize Kristen Williamson, who's our Director of PK through 12 Humanities. I don't believe she's here tonight, but a big round of applause for Kristen. She's going to be a big loss. She's actually going to Canandaigua, has done a fantastic job in her time here, and we will sorely miss her, but wish her well. And then I believe Jennifer Gerace, one of our elementary teachers at the early childhood school, is not here, so big thank you to Jennifer Gerace. When I say your name, if you could stand up, and then at the end, I've been told to make sure everybody stays because we want to get a group picture. But if you could stand up when I say your name. So from the senior high school, Jonathan Aldridge, science. Also from the high school, Jeffrey Salerno, science. From the junior high school, Jessica D'Ambrosio, school counselor. And also from the junior high school, Carrie Ferrari, physical education. From the intermediate school, Alexandra Orsini, elementary ed. And also Carolyn Isaacson, elementary education. From our primary school, Kevin Hake, elementary education. Also from our primary school, Christina Caniglio, elementary education. And from the primary school, who actually interacts with lots of kids from across, and staff from across buildings, Heather Della Porta, English as a new language. From the early childhood school, Aaron Black, school psychologist. Also from the early childhood school, Michaela Brennan. One of our outstanding reading teachers, Jackie Walker from the early childhood school. Another outstanding reading teacher, Katie Ward from the early childhood school. And then 3 awesome administrators who earned tenure throughout this school year. Angela Affronti, Director of Technology. Dorothy D'Angelo, our Assistant Superintendent for Personnel. And the brains behind the incredible finances of Victor Central School District, Derek Valise, Assistant Superintendent for Business. Another big round of applause for all our tenure candidates. So I'm just going to mention, we're going to talk about one more person, and then I'm going to give it over to Mr. DeLucia, and then we're going to have a picture of the tenure candidates, which would be great. But we would be remiss if we didn't say something about one of our board members, Elizabeth Mitchell, whose term expires at the end of June. In my personal experience with Elizabeth over the many years, multiple years, 3 years, right? 3 years that we've worked together. She's been an incredible advocate for kids. She always puts kids first. She's an amazing collaborator. It's definitely, she infuses that team of 8, 7 board members and a superintendent at every moment. And she's also amazing with her ideas. She's given us multiple ideas as a board and as a superintendent to pursue better ways to communicate with the community, to work with the staff, whether it's building visits on a monthly basis, or she actually came up with the idea of myself creating my own student superintendent leadership group at the junior high and the high school. So without her input, those things wouldn't have happened. So I just want to give you a huge thank you from myself. Thanks for your leadership, and thanks for your support, and you will definitely be missed.
Well, thank you, Elizabeth, for being part of our team. I've learned a great deal from you. I think I've said this before. You're way smarter than I am, and I appreciate that. I've learned quite a bit from you. Dr. Terranova talked about the ideas that you came up with, like the visits to buildings and schools, helps us connect with staff and students. And it was just a great idea, and it had wonderful benefits by us doing that to help us in our decision-making to see what actually is happening everywhere. And also your efforts to advocate for our students in our district, meeting with legislators and regents, et cetera, et cetera. You did that wonderfully, and we thank you for that. In addition, as a teacher, you brought the important educational perspective to our board, which to me is very, very valuable, very helpful. I'm married to a retired teacher, so I appreciate that so much. So thank you for what you did. Thank you for being with us, and congratulations to you. Okay, so what we're going to do now is pause for a refresher. We're going to reconvene in the boardroom, so come back. We'll start with the superintendent's update. There's always so exciting, so you don't want to miss that. So we'll Okay, we're back. We are at item number 4, the superintendent's update. Dr. Terranova, if you please.
Thank you, Mr. DeLucia. First off, I do want to, that was done in 55 minutes, which is amazing. Hundreds of kids recognized for art, Winter Guard, which is also a significant artistic achievement, athletics, our tenure candidates. And so just a really big thank you to the board for recognizing all of those students and staff. It's a huge thing to do, and I think it means a lot and shows that connection between the Board of Education and our community. So just a great celebration. The other thing, I just have a couple announcements. One is in my last superintendent's update to the community on June 7th, 2024, I did give a brief update about student-to-student conflict. I know I've been doing that at different times throughout the year, and although it's June, it's always a good reminder for families. I mentioned in my update on June 7th that went to the community, please know that we are committed to working together with families to resolve issues that occur between students. If your student brings you a concern about something that has happened, the best way to begin is by addressing it with the adults who are in closest contact with your children, which is usually a teacher. These are the adults who will make a difference. Certainly involving a counselor or other people service staff and building administration is appropriate if the initial steps are not improving the situation. Also, I talked about the Dignity for All Student Act, or DASA, which is the official policy of New York State that all students in public schools have the right to an education free of discrimination and harassment. Talked a little bit about that form and how important it is. Basically, really focusing on the concept that kids have to go to school and feel safe. Is it perfect? Do we have situations where that does not occur? Yes, unfortunately, but we need to do everything in our power to address it when it does happen and put a strong focus and continue to build a strong community of learners where people respect one another. So I also want to do a few quick celebrations, although we had a bunch of celebrations. First of all, Sue Utz, who is the work-based learning coordinator at the high school, today received the Jordan Pappas Vocational Service Award through the Victor Farmington Rotary. I was lucky enough to be at that luncheon. She was presented, this award is a major award for the Rotary across New York State, and it's presented to a person who through an exceptional commitment to serving others in the course of their own professional careers, have demonstrated a commitment to serving their community. So we thank Sue Utz for her amazing leadership. Just some reminders as well as celebrations. Flag Day is this Friday, June 14th. The anniversary of the adoption of the Stars and Stripes as the official U.S. flag that occurred in 1777. I know our different, especially in our elementary schools, are doing some ceremonies related to that. We also have our elementary Special Olympics this Friday morning starting at 9:15 at the intermediate building. We already had the secondary Special Olympics at Marcus Whitman School a couple months ago. So this is our own Special Olympics for elementary students. This will be the third year we've done it, and it's truly an amazing event. We're looking forward to that. Next week is Juneteenth, Wednesday, June 19th. It's a school holiday that's celebrated on June 19th to commemorate the emancipation of enslaved people in the U.S. The holiday was first celebrated in Texas, where on that date in 1865, in the aftermath of the Civil War, enslaved people were declared free under the terms of the 1862 Emancipation Proclamation. Again, that's Wednesday, June 19th, which is a school holiday. And last but not least, our graduation is Friday, June 21st, starting at 7:30 p.m. at Innovative Field. Fireworks to follow the ceremony. It's an amazing ceremony. Big thank you to the high school for the work they're doing in preparing that celebration for our graduates. And that's my superintendent's update, Mr. DeLucia.
Thank you, Dr. Terranova. Next item, item 5, public participation. Although the board's work is open to the public, this is not a meeting with the public. At this time, privilege of the floor is offered to those who have signed up to speak. I'll be happy to recognize those of you who wish to speak. When you approach the microphone, please identify yourself before presenting your thoughts. Individual comments will be limited to 3 minutes, and the total time for this portion of the agenda will be limited to 30 minutes. Please note, issues related to specific school district personnel or students must be brought to the attention of the superintendent of schools privately, as they are not discussable at this venue. Thank you for that. So first on the list is Angela Delgado, please.
Hello, everybody. I have to follow up with all that positive stuff with some negative stuff, unfortunately, but that's where we're at. I'm not going to drop any names of any students or teachers or anything like that. I just want to go back to actually a post that was put on Parent Square that kind of aggravated us, I guess I should say. And it was referring to the school won't take lightly any online bullying, you know, and that they were going to get police involved because it was about specific students at the school. And the school seemed to really make a big deal about it. But when it happened to my student, I didn't feel it was treated the same. My student was getting online threats, telling him to go kill himself, calling him really inappropriate things. The other student actually posted my address, and I had Victor's student show up at my house wanting to beat up my student, as well as parents who we didn't even know or my student didn't know. So I just don't feel like it was taken as seriously for his situation as it was for whoever that was about. So I just wanted everybody to be aware that it happens. It took to the point of where actually like a Facebook post, somebody I know posted on a Farmington Victor group to get some attention to it. And then finally, the principal was actually alerted at my son's school because his teachers were concerned because he was now withdrawn from wanting to be at school. So he wasn't acting as he used to, where he was participating and really excited to be at school. He went from high honor roll to like low B grades for the last semester of school, which is unfortunate, but it really affected him deeply. It lasted for about 7 weeks. I mean, the other student even made a false police report, and it took for that police officer to actually go to the other student's house and tell him to knock it off when it finally stopped. So a total of 7 weeks, which is really 7 weeks too long. The student didn't get suspended, expelled, or anything. We had all the evidence, all the messages, and basically the other student would just kind of walk around and smile at him and be like, ha, I got away with it. So I just want everybody to be aware of those situations that are happening. Thank you.
Thanks for your comments. Next is Jen Arena, please.
So kind of on the same wavelength of the bullying, I know that Dr. Terranova is working to make people more aware of it. What I want to say is, has anybody ever been called fat or ugly? Have you ever been made to feel completely insecure about your body? How many students do you think internalize what their bullies say to them, do to them? How many do you think are afraid to report or speak out? How many of our children have been bullied? How many have been the bullies? Bullying has tremendous effects on physical, mental, and emotional health. It makes one feel insecure, humiliated, self-doubting. It has the power to destroy lives mentally and physically. 1 out of every 5 students have reported being bullied, but that's the only ones that have actually reported it. There's so much more bullying that happens without anyone ever reporting it. How many more children have to suffer at the hands or mouths of a bully? How many more school shootings must we endure to take substantial action to curb the bullying? I, for one, am at my wit's end. My daughter has been bullied since kindergarten. She is now finishing 7th grade. She started school with the love for learning, the love for friends, as many as she could have, and the love of just coming to school. She had the brightest light in her eyes when she would come home from school, ready to tell anyone and everyone what she did that day. As the years wore on, the light dimmed little by little, up to today, when there is no light in her eyes when she comes home from school. It doesn't matter how many people, known
and strangers tell her how beautiful she is, how kind she is, how wonderful she is. Because some of her peers have continually bullied her, she has been broken down. She doesn't believe any of those things about herself. She no longer wants to come to school. She tells me she hates school. She is depressed, anxious, sad, angry, hurt. At the beginning of this school year, she was scared to even start school. She was convinced that her peers were going to make fun of her because her dad passed away in a tragic accident the month before school started. No child should have that fear. No child should make any sort of comment about it. But the fact that she felt that way tells you a lot about the state of Victor schools. And it completely broke my heart, as it should anyone's. Bullying happens the most in school, in the play yard, outside of the home. But the fact of the matter is that bullying starts at home. It is not completely up to the teachers and schools to curb bullying. Parents, grandparents, families, community members all need to take responsibility. We tell the kids, see something, say something. That goes for everyone. Pay attention to what's happening around you. Call out those kids, or even adults, for bullying. These children need to know that people have their back. They need to know that they don't deserve any of that, and they're worth it. Bullies need to be shown a different way. They need to be shown love and understanding, as well as some tough lessons, both in and outside of school. What happened to our village? Haven't we always said it takes a village to raise a child? Our village needs to come back together. Our schools have to start taking genuine action. Let's teach our children better. Thank you.
And thank you for your comments. Next is Nancy Gerdot. Hope I said that correctly. No? Yeah?
Hi, thank you for the opportunity to talk to you tonight. My name is Nancy Gerdot. I am the proud grandmother of Ashlyn and proud mother of Jennifer. And I too want to address this bullying that's been happening. I do want to thank Dr. Terranova because he met with my daughter Jennifer and I, and we had some good conversation in regards to the bullying. We spoke about some things and ideas that could possibly be implemented in order to help the bullies. And I saw your email regarding DASA and informing the community about DASA and how it could help students and how that process was there and in place. And I thank you for that. But I wanted to throw out some ideas to the board. I wanted you to hear what we were thinking and what we were hoping to see perhaps next year, because we are at the end of this school year. But you have all summer in order to maybe come up with some ways to address this so that it stops. I think it would be wonderful if you would have if the school would have an anonymous survey and ask students how many have been bullied, to raise the awareness, not only for the school district, but for the whole community, that this is happening and that we need to do more. I hope you will continue to promote DASA and explain it to parents. DASA requires that once the bullying is noted or reported, whether it be by a student, teacher, or school personnel or parent, an oral report is to be made that day to Dr. Terranova or the school principal or someone acting on their behalf. And then within 2 days, a written report is to be made. I would like to ask that you provide parents of the child who was bullied a copy of that written report so that the whole process is transparent and parents know that actions are being taken at the school. I hope parents would be immediately informed of the DASA process and given the form that they would need so that they could file their own report. And then once a DASA decision is made, that the parents are given a copy of that decision, as well as explanations as to why this determination was made. And I also just want to throw out, and I know it's controversial in the sense of, being, not wanting names to go out and that kind of thing, but when the whole process of DASA oversight is by school personnel, and the very personnel who are in the trenches trying to deal with the behaviors, then it feels like it's akin to the police policing themselves. And maybe there needs to be more of a committee and representatives from different groups like the shared decision-making teams that school districts have in place to make decisions and to try and make it more that the parents and the community feel like the entire school district is working on this, as well as the community. I think we need to empower our students. I think we need to put a lot of the onus on them to solve this problem. I think we need to give them the tools to do that, peer mediation, maybe some direct one-on-one counseling with the bully and the victim, so that the victim has a way to resolve their powerless feelings. Community service projects. Our kids need to learn more empathy. They need to learn understanding, and that, there are people hurting out there. And maybe a leadership class at each grade level for every student, so that they can learn the qualities that a leader is required to have and should have. They may never become a leader themselves, but they will know what it takes, and who knows what leadership you might find once they have those tools. I do also want to stress in this public forum that the problem with bullying is not just a school problem. We in the community need to step up and stop this from happening. Parents must teach their children that bullying hurts everyone. When we stand by, say nothing, and watch as bullying occurs, we are as complicit as if we were the bully. Bullying is about power, and that power comes from how the bystanders react. It's time for us to all take the power away from the bully. It's got to be a community-wide action in support of the school district. Thank you.
Thank you for your comments. We have Ashlyn Arena.
Hi, I'm Ashlyn. I have felt lonely, like I'm the only one going through this, but I'm not. Thousands of kids all around the world are going through what I am facing. I have been getting bullied ever since kindergarten. The school hasn't done much help. They just talk to the kids and they don't get any discipline. The bullying has impacted me very deeply, and I'm sure a lot of other kids have it worse. Life is like a game of hangman. When you guess a letter or guess a word, you add on another limb to the person. It's like life. Say the wrong thing and you can end someone's life. It's becoming a problem in our world. People start to believe what other people say about you is true. And it's only getting worse and worse. Trust me, I have been there. And it's only gotten worse, especially this year and last year. People calling me names and just being straight up rude. But I have learned to take it, and I have learned that those kids are just insecure about themselves. They're only trying to make themselves feel better. But most of the kids in the school are trying too hard to look better to the popular kids. All of this has made me very depressed and made me not want to come to school at all. When I wasn't being bullied sometimes, I loved school, but now I don't like it at all, and I hate to see kids go through what I have been going through, especially kids who have it worse than me. I hope to see the school really follow their zero tolerance for bullying someday. But I have really appreciated the help from Ms. D'Ambrosio, Mr. Gee, Mrs. Westerman, in the junior high this year and with the bullying, along with Dr. Terranova. But I could have used this help and support in kindergarten all through 6th grade. And I hope to see that all kids in this district have a better school years than I have. As it says in the Dignity for All Students Act, a student's ability to learn and meet high academic standards and a school's ability to educate its students is compromised by incidents of discrimination or harassment, including bullying, taunting, or intimidation. The Dignity Act makes it the official policy of New York State that all students in public schools have the right to an education free of discrimination and harassment. I would like to see the school follow this more next year, and from there on, I also hope all of this goes along with the kids in the high school and that the people in the high school get the help and support that they need. And like I said earlier, I really appreciate Ms. D'Ambrosio, Mr. Gee, Mrs. Westerman, and Dr. Ternova for their help this school year. They talked to the kids and have also talked with me and my mom. They asked what they could do to help me feel better about being in school, and then again, I could have used this help in kindergarten all through 6th grade. Thank you.
Thank you all for those comments. They're very important for us to hear, so we appreciate that. Last person is Mike Molesky, please.
Mike Modleski, President of the Victor Teachers Association. Before I get to my comments, thank you. That took a lot of courage, and that was really powerful. And as the President of the Teachers Association and a teacher at the high school, if even one kid is going through what you went through, then we can do better. So that took a lot of guts. So thank you very much. I also want to take a second to congratulate Adam and to Carol for your election for next year's school board. We're looking forward to, as a Teachers Association, working with both of you over the next several years. And also to thank Elizabeth for your years of service to the district. It's been, to have a teacher, a public school teacher on the school board is so powerful, and thank you, and I hope we haven't seen the last of you. I also want to thank the entire board for every year recognizing our teachers who receive tenure. It's a misunderstood thing in our community and in our country. It's not a job for life or a shield to protect bad teachers and to keep them in the classroom. It's a tool of empowerment. It says to our teachers, we trust you, we believe in you, and we're empowering you to go out there and change kids' lives. So thank you for recognizing them tonight. And last but not least, this is such a cool school board meeting every year. I know it goes long and it's late, but to see all of the achievements in the board or in the auditorium before the meeting is just remarkable, and it's this tiny little microcosm of what Victor can do and does do on a regular basis. There are so many other students and teachers and coaches and staff members that could be recognized. And it's just an amazing thing, and it's a testament to the work that we do. You know, it's setting policy and designing lesson plans and the things on paper that's one thing, but we operate in a changing society, in a people business, and we cannot plan for what's going to come our way. And the fact that everyone in this district works so well together every year, it's just an incredible thing to be a part of. So thank you for your work this year. Maybe I'll see you this summer, but definitely look forward to seeing you in September and working on next year's challenges, which will hopefully include chipping away at the bullying issue. So thank you so much for a great year.
Great. Thank you for your comments, Mike. Much appreciated. Okay, we are at item 6, which is acceptance of consent items. We have 6A through R. Could I have a motion to accept these items, please? Elizabeth, second? Kristen? Any comments or questions on any of these items, board members?
Well, I am going to jump in with my go-to because I am every month, all year long, I'm incredibly grateful speaking on behalf of the board and the entire district and all the students that are so affected. We heard in the auditorium the gratitude to booster clubs, and they continue to not only offer help in logistics, but we get financial donations. So a thank you to the Boys Lacrosse Booster Club for monies towards helmet decals for the varsity and junior varsity players, and then to the soccer club, who gave us a very sizable donation for goals that are going to be used on our fields and just raising the level and the standards. So thank you again for continued support, and we appreciate you. Thanks.
Thank you.
Want to mention a couple things from item C, the personnel agenda. Want to recognize some of our retirees. Rosemary Vigiano, Department Secretary, is retiring as of July 27th. Also, William Brown, one of our amazing bus drivers, is retiring June 26th, as well as James Phillips, another outstanding school bus driver, retiring June 25th, 2024. So I just wanted to make sure I don't miss anybody. And, Gina, sorry, I almost missed Gina. We don't want to do that. Gina Colucci, who is a fantastic speech and language therapist, is retiring as well. So, as I always say, hundreds and hundreds of years of experience we're losing with our retirees, and many of them are coming back to help us out, which is amazing. We hope some of these individuals will as well. So, just a big thank you to our retirees. And, can I say one more thing?
Of course.
Thank you. I want to also turn it over to Mr. Valise for just a few seconds, who's going to talk about item H, the acceptance of the internal audit report and corrective action plan.
Okay, great, thanks.
Thank you, Dr. Terranova. The external audit or internal audit is an audit of our internal functions, usually typically just the business office. This one's an unusual audit because if you look at the years in which they're examining, it's always a year behind. So the previous school, last May, we approved the prior school year. So the years are always interesting because they don't align with the current school year. That audit is usually a little bit of audit committee district guided. You could lead them to things that you're doing very well, or you can ask for improvement. And last school year, we took the approach to have them examine what's referred to as STAC, and that's where we report our high-cost special ed students. And we felt it was important because it drives a significant amount of aid for next year. It's about $1.5 million. And we were committed to improvement. We want to make sure that we're getting the most money that we can. It is a tough audit, but I'm happy to report that they had one finding, and of the approximately $4 million that we spend in special ed that school year, we only were under-reporting by $800, which is a great accomplishment, but it does show that there is room for improvement, and we look to do that. So, any questions about that audit?
No.
Percentage is 800 of 4 million. You did a good job.
We're
There's
committed
room.
to continuous improvement.
Right. Growth mindset, right?
Thanks for the good work.
Thank you.
Appreciate it. Other comments? Okay, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Abstentions? Motion carried. Okay, 7A would be campus news for almost to the end of the school year.
Good evening. My name's Rob DeRose, the principal at the Early Childhood School. I'm happy to share with you some updates from our school. I'll start with first graders. They've had a busy month. This month they participated in the annual walking field trip to the public library. Students really enjoyed walking through town to learn more about their Victor community, as well as their Victor Farmington Public Library. The PE swimming unit for our first grade students is now complete. Students walked up to the high school pool to learn about water safety and the foundational skills for becoming a proficient swimmer, and to exercise safety when near a pool or a body of water. And a big thank you to our PE team of Mrs. Parks, Mrs. Smith, and Mr. Leader, who ensured that all students were successful no matter what their skills, comfort level, or feelings about swimming were. That was on the last day when they got to jump off the diving board. Our first graders have also been visiting the zoo this week and to extend their science learning from the school year. This trip is funded by the VCS Education Foundation. Students and parent chaperones have had a blast. Students and classroom teachers are participating in the annual field day games this month, with days filled with relay races, dance parties, water games, sidewalk, chalk, and scooters. We've had a lot of fun and tired students in the building. We appreciate the dedication of our faculty and staff to not just lead, but also participate in the games with our students each year. They always do an amazing job and do what's best for students to ensure that they have an amazing field day experience as they end their early childhood school year this year. This week, we're looking forward to an incredible Special Olympics event and sending our exceptional athletes off with fanfare during tomorrow afternoon's parade. Friday is our annual Flag Day celebration as well. Students will be showing their patriotic spirit by singing songs that they've been rehearsing and preparing for. And if you have the opportunity to head to the auditorium on Friday morning, you'll really see and feel the joy throughout the student population and staff and faculty. You're in for an event that'll leave you smiling for quite some time. This year, our students are marching down the hall singing one of their all-time favorite tunes, You're a Grand Old Flag. We enjoyed hosting the board visit our school last week. We hope that your time in our school as you visited the classrooms and welcomed students off the bus loop and walked our hallways, that just like us, you left the building feeling VEX proud. And lastly, I'd like to once again congratulate our tenure recipients. Each person who received the honor of tenure tonight is a special and valued member of our VCSD community of highly effective educators. We greatly appreciate the following faculty members and are grateful that they will continue to teach here in the VCSD for many years to come. So Jen Gerace, Katie Ward, Michaela Brennan, Aaron Black, Jackie Walker, and Christina Caniglio, who is shared between the ECS and VPS. I have the opportunity to share the primary school's updates for Heidi Robb because she's not able to be here tonight. We'd like to say on behalf of the primary school, congratulations again to our newly tenured teachers, including Mr. Hack, Mrs. Delaporta, and Mrs. Caniglio at the primary school. We're very fortunate to have all three of these staff members at VPS. Our students certainly have learned so much from these colleagues, and we're grateful for their commitment to our students. VPS has been very busy this week. Yesterday and today, we had field days for all of our students. This included Mission Impossible in the gym, swimming at the senior high, and many relay races. Thank you to PTSA and the many parent volunteers that helped run these stations. One really special part of our field day was the music station, where our senior high music students planned and ran some really fun music activities for our younger students. This was so much fun for both our VPS students and our senior high students. Thank you to the senior high music teachers for planning and supporting this great station. Last night, 240 second and third graders participated in our Suzuki Strings concert. It was a full house in the junior senior high auditorium. I want to thank Natalie Coots for her drive to support any student that wanted to enter the strings program. She worked tirelessly to ensure that every student that wanted to participate had access to an instrument and a time in their schedule to learn. It was truly remarkable to see that many musicians perform at once. Tomorrow night, we will host our first grade sneak peek at VPS. We have third grade student leaders stationed around the school. First graders and their families will visit the locations to learn a bit more from our third grade leaders about their new school. They end their sneak peek with time with a popsicle from PTSA. It's a great time to meet some of our first graders, but it's equally wonderful to see our third graders step up as leaders. This is an experience we started a few years ago that continues to be one of Mrs. Robb's favorites. It's been another great year at VPS, and we appreciate the support from the Board of Education. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Good evening, Brian Gee, Principal of Victory Junior High School. I'm going to be sharing some updates on both behalf of the intermediate school and the junior high school. But before I start, Ash, you crushed it. Great job. So proud of you. Such a brave thing to do, to come up and share your experience, even the parts of it that aren't the best. And we got your back, and I got some ideas for you for next year. So thank you. Okay, so intermediate school. First off, the PTSA, Ashley wanted to make sure that her team thanked the PTSA for the work that they've done, particularly over the last few months, coordinating a lot of special events for the staff and the community and the students, and that they really made Staff Appreciation Week very special for the VIS team. So they really wanted to make sure they thanked our PTSA. Ashley also wanted to make sure we talked about our music department at the intermediate school and the work that they've been doing to get students ready for their ensemble concerts. And as Mr. Isaacs can attest to, who's keeping the live stream going today, we've had a very busy auditorium, and the kids and the teachers have been working very hard on that. I also wanted to make sure that we thank the high school for including the intermediate school, and I would say this is true for our building also, for the grad walk. Getting a chance to see the kids come through the campus with their caps and gowns on is a very special moment, particularly if you've been here for a while, to see some of those kids come through your building. So we really appreciated that. This week, VAS is also participating in field days. This will be a common theme as we talk about the junior high school as well. But again, the idea is to come together, to celebrate, hopefully through games and play, and an opportunity to kind of come together as a community and really recognize a great year. And so they wanted to make sure that they mentioned that. And then finally wanted to take a moment to congratulate all of the staff who received tenure tonight through the intermediate school and throughout the rest of the district, and also some of the staff at the intermediate school who will be retiring later this month. And also to make sure we say thank you to Tom Cheevers, who, as we know, is going to be relocating to be closer to family, and the time that he spent at the district and in the intermediate school in particular has been very valuable. Shifting gears a little bit, this is the junior high school. I'd also like to take an opportunity to thank our PTSA. We're having our teacher appreciation activity coming up. We celebrate that once we start exam mode, not tomorrow, but in the coming days after that. And again, throughout the whole year, our PTSA has been a great support for the things that we do in the junior high school, whether it's the Books at Breakfast program or some of the other things that we've really come to honor as our annual traditions. We also want to thank the Board of Ed for your steadfast support of what we do at the junior high school each year. Our newly tenured teachers also, with Ms. D'Ambrosio and Carrie Ferrari, both really just fantastic additions to our building. We are also going to be celebrating hard work this year. We have field days tomorrow for our 7th grade, and we will be going to Seabreeze with our 8th graders tomorrow. We have not done that in a while. We're able to kind of get back to that. It's something the kids really wanted to do, and so we're excited to be able to do that tomorrow. And then really lastly, I just want to thank our community, our families, and the folks that come out and support all of our students, be it at concerts, activities, events, either in the building itself or just within the community. It's a pretty special place to be, and we want to continue to get better at making it special for everyone. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Jim Morrow, and I am one of the assistant principals at Victor Senior High School. I want to start by recognizing and congratulating all of the tenure recipients tonight. Very nice work, and you've earned this. We also want to thank the Board of Education for their support of our school. A complimentary copy of this year's yearbook is here for you as our way of saying thanks. It is truly a visually stunning yearbook, and Tim Coughlin and Dave Denner have done a phenomenal job with it, along with the students who put it together. Secondly, we have a number of events this past month that we want to recognize. A big thank you to our PTSA for sponsoring the annual Impaired Driving Simulation and presentation on May 30th with Marianne Angelillo, who is the mother of Matthew Angelillo. Matthew lost his life in a drunk driving accident as the passenger in a vehicle in June of 2004, 20 years ago. Her discussion with our seniors evokes humor, sadness, truthfulness, and a plea for our students to stay safe during a celebratory time of year. She has been a very good partner with us for more than a decade, and we are grateful to our PTSA for continuing to sponsor such an important event. The annual Senior Cap and Gown Campus Walk was later that day, and we want to thank the staff and students in the ECS, primary, intermediate, junior high, and high school for coming out to cheer for our graduating seniors. The senior breakfast and senior ball was on Friday, May 31st. Breakfast was at Bristol Mountain, and ball was at Harrow East Ballroom. Special thanks to the class advisors Elise Wiest and Eric Dahlstrom for organizing such great events. And kudos to yearbook advisor Tim Coughlin and his assistant Dave Denner for working with our students to create perhaps the most visually stunning yearbook in our school's history. Awards night was last Tuesday, and our students in the Finger Lakes Technical and Career Center had their graduation ceremony last night at Marcus Whitman High School. Congratulations to these seniors for their outstanding commitment to earning credentials in the important trades and skills fields. Senior Bash is Tuesday, June 18th, and we thank the parents who are organizing that event for our seniors. It's a great annual event that the students love to share together before the busy summer months begin. Graduation, believe it or not, is next Friday, June 21st at Innovative Field. We also wanted to take some time to share some highlights from some recent field trips. Last month, the Outdoor Activities Club had the opportunity once again to travel to the Adirondacks and climb 2 high peaks. We had 4 students attend our trip: Trevor Jacobs, Owen Bigger, Nolan Shevlin, and Andrew or Dewey Leone. It was organized by Mrs. Kelly Ahern and Mr. John Aldrich, also accompanied on the trip. Our trip was a little shorter than usual because the students were between the AP exams. We adjusted the trip to fit their schedule, and what an incredible hike we had. We camped both nights at the Adirondack Loge Campground, and Saturday morning headed to the trailhead for Giant and Rocky Peak Ridge, located in Keene, New York. Great Mountain is the 12th highest peak, and Rocky Peak Ridge sits at 20th out of 46 high peaks in the Adirondacks. We dealt with all types of weather along the way, but for the most part, we were lucky that the skies cleared and we truly had a gem of a day. I often heard, or Mrs. Ahern often heard, from the boys, "Wow, this is incredible. This is the best day ever." I am fortunate that they were all able to successfully cross 2 additional high peaks off of their list. It was a great way to end their journey with the club. We also wanted to share, we had some pictures of 5 students who made it to the final competition of the Envirothon competition at SUNY Cortland last month. Our Victor students finished 18th out of 46 counties. Envirothon is a national competition that tests students in the field of environmental science. Topics include aquatic ecology, forestry, wildlife, soil and land use, and this year's current event topic is alternative energy. We want to thank this group of students for their leadership in promoting environmental awareness in an effort to protect the planet. The students are Adrian McLean, Tessa Natali, Soraya Hammer, Annalie Van Manen, and Sophia Spindler. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. There you had it, the June episode of Campus News for 2024. 7B, we have an athletic update. Dewey, I'm going to allocate to you to do the next introductions, if you would. A bunch of people listed, but I see you all by yourself.
I'm not by myself, Mr. Bush. I have some people here with me. So good evening, everyone. Dewey Weimer, Director of Health, Physical Education, and Athletics. I would like to invite up head boys and girls golf coach Trevor Sousa and Jen Haggerty, our head coach for Alpine and Girls Lacrosse. They're going to assist me tonight with a couple parts of our presentation. Mike Ferrari, in Mike Ferrari fashion, thank you, Jen, is coaching his son out in Thinking Sodas tonight, so he unfortunately wasn't able to be here. So thank you to Dr. Turnover, the Board of Education, for providing us this opportunity to talk about our amazing Blue Devil athletic programs, student athletes, and staff. So a couple things you might see is we use a communication code so that we make sure that we are very clear with what it is that we're discussing in our athletic department. So we're going to clarify in a few things first. This is our flow chart. This is what we show all of our community members at every single meeting that we have with them. We share this at our coaching staff meetings so that everyone knows what rocks are most important for each individual person. So in who to contact, so you see the administrative assistant, that's Mrs. Turner. She's really important to us. Obviously, Mr. Ferrari is our assistant AD, and we have our head coaches, executive officers. Jen Haggerty actually serves as one of our executive officers. But the important thing about this is to understand the Department of Health, Physical Education, and Athletics. We connect with so much. We connect with officials, transportation, other districts throughout our section, our state. Event staff, maintenance, grounds, custodians. We're in frequent conversation with our local BOCES in the New York State Department of Education based on certifications. There's just so much. And we're very accessible. So those at home watching on YouTube right now, they can get their phones out and they can scan this. It's going to put all our contact information directly into your phone. So at any time, you can pull up one of our contacts off of this and be able to contact us via email or to our website. I can honestly say, though, Mrs. Turner and Mr. Ferrari are the best of the best. Unequivocally, Monroe County, Section 5, New York State, they are the best. And I can't thank them enough. So moving over, there are some additional responsibilities obviously we have, but my heroic goal, this is the heroic goal that I developed through some of the professional development that my staff and I have been completing over the last few years, is when alumni reflect about their time as Blue Devils, I aspire for Victor coaches to emerge as their most encouraging, inspiring, and motivating mentors. So that's what my ultimate dream is when someone reflects back at their time at Victor, especially athletes, they go, oh, that Mr. Sousa was the best. Coach Hags, she was phenomenal. I can't wait to see her again. That's what I want to see. And you're going to hear a little bit more about this through our Level Up program that the coaches are going to talk about. But we're continually adjusting ways to get there. Okay, so the first thing that you're going to see now is our purpose statement. And again, this is something that we present at every single meeting that we have, to place the highest priority on the overall quality of the student's educational experience via the development of positive relationships, self-efficacy, goodwill, and all-around growth and good citizenship qualities. So what does that mean? Okay, no point are we saying our purpose is to win championships. That's not our purpose. We're an educationally based program. We're here to learn and to grow using the vehicle of sport. Okay, so what we do is we use 5 keys, and you see we are Victor with the V sign, right, the V emoji. This is what it means. Number 1 is we want kids to feel safe. Whenever they come to a practice, a game, a pizza party, any event that they come to, socially, emotionally, mentally, and physically. And the head coaches and I adjusted that a few years ago, actually right after COVID. It used to be physically safe first, but we said, well, they need to feel comfortable when they come to us before that we can even make sure that they get to a point when the activities are physically safe. So that's the number 1 priority for us, to make sure that we're meeting this position statement or our purpose, and then ultimately my heroic goal. We want to make sure that everything we do is worthwhile. We use the district mission. We are an extension in the classroom. Every drill activity that we do should have some sort of educationally based component to it. We have a shared vision. We're all in this together. This is a community event, okay? We are a community program. We invite parents to be part of our programming. We want to include as many children as we possibly can. We want to have a growth mindset, quantifiable goals, every rep, every day, every practice, every game. What did we learn? How can we get better? And lastly, are they being engaged? Are they having fun? Because what we find is if they're having fun, they're going to come back. And you're going to see some numbers that are showing that that's being successful. So those are our 5 keys to our purpose. And I'm real clear, okay, and I do a little quiz at the end of every coaches meeting, and that's on there every time, and Mr. Sousa is one of the best when it comes to answering that. But I'm clear about here's what we want to do, here's how we're going to get there. So it goes AD to coach, coaches to coaches, coaches to their teams, and then the communication through the staff. So next I'd like to celebrate. Okay, so what I did is I pulled, and the red is the COVID years, by the way. So what I did is I took the 2017-2018 was the year before I got here. Okay, I came in fall of 2018 to this present year. So we're continuing to grow our programs. So our participation numbers from the 2017-18 year to this present year, we've increased our roster sizes by 323 participants. That means we have 323 more 7th through 12th grade students participating in interscholastic athletics than they were 7 years ago. Okay, that's a huge win. That's a huge win. Okay, of that, 206 are at the modified level, and that's a huge thanks to you, the Board of Education, for providing us additional opportunities for our junior high students. Okay, indoor track and field is a new add. Providing additional modified teams is a huge add. These kids would not be participating if it weren't for that opportunity. We have 107 more multi-sport athletes, which means we have more students now, 107 more students now that are participating in 2 or more activities in athletics now than they were 7 years ago. And I heard loud and clear when I came here in fall of 2018, we want more kids to play more sports, multiple sports. So I heard that, and we made that very important to us. And then lastly, this one I do want to explain a little bit, 7.75% unduplicated versus enrollment. What that means is we look at the enrollment size and see how many kids participate in a sport. So right now we have, I'm going to pull it up here, 1,081 students that are participating. One of those students might participate in one sport, another student might participate in 2 or 3 sports. It's just students. So in 7th through 12th grade, we have 1,081 students, which is crazy, which is a crazy number of students. It's over half, 56% of our students. So back a few years ago, we did have about 48%. So we've increased the number of students participating based on our enrollment size, which again is a huge win for us. Okay, some of our programs. We've been really creative with our programs over the last couple of years based on our students' interests. We've had gymnasts. We don't have a gymnastic program, but we have gymnasts through the partnership with Rush Henrietta. We have Nordic skiing with Pittsford. Again, a great partnership we have with them. And HFL has actually joined us the last couple of years to help us with our boys volleyball program. So we're finding creative ways to increase our program. So we have 33 total offerings and 87 total teams. So it's one of the largest in Section 5 in terms of total team opportunities. There are still areas of growth, and I'll talk to you a little bit about that in a bit. Coaching staff, we have 165 positions. 39 of those are certified volunteers, and we really do appreciate our coaches who say, hey, I want to be involved. I know you don't have a position available, but I still want to be involved. They come sit down with us. We go through the certification process. They get certified. They get board appointed, and they are part of our programs. 132 total individuals out of those 165 positions. So many of our coaches, case in point right behind me, coach multiple sports. Okay, and that's really important. So there's almost 2,000 years of total experience there in terms of coaching, which is crazy. So 1953 total years experience. So the next thing we talk about is critique. And I'm somebody who's always seeking critique. Okay, even today, I think I called Mr. Ferrari into my office. Hey, Mike, can you critique something with me? I use that word a lot. Hey, I'm going to give you some ideas. Tell me why it won't work. Okay, help me understand. So here are some things that we are continually critiquing. This participation. Okay, we released 250 kids this year. That's still a lot of kids we're cutting. So that's the number of kids. Even though we've increased 300 plus students on our rosters, we're still releasing 250 throughout the calendar year. And these are kids who are no longer participating in our programming, which we find alarming. And are we meeting the needs of all students? We're very aware that there are a lot of youth programs that are occurring out there in our fields during the afternoons, softball, baseball, soccer, lacrosse, etc. But there's a means from the families to allow them that opportunity. Once they come in 7th grade, we want them to participate, but their skill, ability, knowledge may not be where it should be to be on a team. We want to provide those opportunities. So how are we helping students at the entry point of athletics? So that's something that we're continually talking about. Are we meeting the needs of all of our students? Programs. We're continuing to advocate and find creative ways to develop programs based on interests. Every year around January to March, we put out an interest form that goes to all current 6th graders and their families to current juniors. We collect that interest, and then I talk to our district office in areas that we want to continue to advocate and to add additional programming. There are some exciting ones that are coming down the bend, and we're hopeful that we can get those going in the near future. Coaches. Improve communication and give them voice to allow additional collegiality and collaboration is something that I'm always working towards. It helps me as an athletic administrator too, and to further development of our mentorship programs. Community, and this is where I was going to have Mike Ferrari talk, so I'll talk a little bit about this, but we are building a common bond between the district and our youth groups and our booster clubs. When I say youth groups, I'm talking about our youth sports programs. We are a hub. Everybody comes to Victor Central in order to participate in their activities and athletics and other extracurricular things. So we are a hub. We want to make sure that bond is strong and communication is clear and continue to navigate the challenge of our athletic facility limitations. So I wanted to talk a little bit about that. And this is just a screenshot. It is a video and the one that I'll share later, but it just shows what happens on a day-to-day basis. On most weekdays, between 3 and 9, and weekends 7 a.m. to 7 p.m. This campus is rocking, right? It's always busy, and we do maximize the available spaces on a daily basis. I'm super thankful for Mr. Ferrari when he became the full-time assistant athletic director. His primary responsibility, or his rock, is to make sure practices are secured for our interscholastic programs, games contests are secured, event staff are available to them, and then to also make sure that our community groups, our youth programs have space for what they need. And then also tier 3 groups, right? So groups that maybe aren't associated with the district but want to come in and utilize our facility. He gave an example in the winter, which was indoor only. We had 24 plus programs on any given day with organized team activities, over 6 gyms, and that doesn't even include some of the youth programs. So it's always busy all the time. And I have to give a shout out to our custodial staff to assist opening doors, locking doors, bathrooms, and things like that. They do a fantastic job. So our interscholastic athletic teams obviously use our facilities, extracurricular. He works hand in hand with color guard, marching band, winter guard, VoIP, etc. Really appreciate the support that we have with each other. Obviously the community youth groups, Parks and Rec use our facilities along with the Aquatic Center. And I have to again give a shout out to Lindsay Carl, our aquatics director, for assisting with that. Our youth groups, Section 5 athletics. We're actually hosting the boys and girls lacrosse all-star game tomorrow night on Corbett Field, so we offer opportunities for them as well. And then obviously, like I said, those non-Victor programs are using our facilities. So moving into collaboration, I'm going to actually hand this over to Coach Haggerty to talk a little bit about her experience with our level up cohorts. And she, along with Mr. Sousa and Coach Fish, our team work together, success will come. So if you see on the right side, every year we develop, my head coaches council and I, the executive officers, we develop different groups, and we change those annually based on what their experience levels are and how we like to see them interact. And they come up with a motto for the year, and they're partnered with each other, and there are different opportunities for them to have PD collaboration support. And I'm going to allow Coach Haggerty to talk a little bit about her experience with it.
Good evening again. Okay, so we are in a group together, Coach Sousa and myself and Coach Fish, and we are supposed to go to each other's practices and collaborate on what we're doing, support each other throughout the year. Coach Sousa and Coach Fish both knew that I was a first-year coach for varsity lacrosse, and they came to a few of my practices. The very first one, actually, that Coach Sousa showed up at was a 6 a.m. I think it was 27 degrees, frost on the turf. And the girls said, Sousa, what are you doing here? Why do you have to be here? And he said, I don't have to be here. I get to be here, just like all of you. So it was really great. When they come to my practices, I would welcome them, and then I would go through what we were working on, why we were working on it. I think you heard Coach Sousa say he was at our last practice on Corbett Field before we left for state championships. And the greatest thing about that is we were actually working on our scout offense and scout defense, what we were going to play, what the other teams were going to play against us based on what we had, saw in film. We were showing him, and so usually when they come to our practice, then later that evening, they'll write in a document what they saw, how the coaches talked to each other and worked together, and what type of drills we did, how the girls reacted, things like that. For me, it's just a really great collaboration of people. And as the season went on, we Coach Sousa and myself our teams both started to do really, really well. So we started this group text, and he would text before sectional games, and I would text him before he went to golf state championships with 2 individuals, before he went to sectionals with his golf team. And it became this really uplifting experience where you knew that you had some colleagues that you were able to lean on if you needed to. Thankfully, we both did very well, but it was just mostly support of each other and collaboration on what we would do and the championship things that we talked about. When we moved to state championships, Coach Sousa was texting me quotes for the girls. So I used them both days in our pre-game talk. And they were so thankful and so grateful. And they all have him for PE. So as soon as I said, Coach Sousa sent you a message, they were elated. And I really think that type of support, not only for myself, but for my athletes, from another teacher like Coach Fish, who some of my athletes had for, I want to say second grade, I might be wrong, third grade. They were so excited to see him. Then, of course, when Coach Sousa comes out and he's their PE teacher, it just would bring a new spark to the practice. They were so happy and so thankful and grateful. And so that was just an example of one of the things that we do in our level up groups. And now I will let Trevor talk.
So before I talk about the next level thing, I definitely wanted to thank all of you sitting in front of us, because I'm one of those coaches that have felt the participation impact. When we started the girls golf program in 2016, I had 9 girls. Kristen can speak to that. Her daughter was on the team as a sophomore, and I had my girls golf interest meeting for next year, and we had 24 show up to the meeting. So the fact that you supported additional coaching staff to help with that, I did a couple years of 18 and 19 by myself, and I wasn't able to deliver the type of coaching product that I wanted, so thank you for that. Just to kind of reiterate what Jen said, Dewey has done a lot for us, physical education and athletic-wise. I get to work with him. I won't ever say for him, because he's collaborative in both those aspects. But this is probably, in my eyes, one of the best things that Dewey has done for coaches, because coaching, as we know, is a very difficult position. Sometimes you can feel on an island. Even with the best assistants in the world, it can be challenging. And the fact that I've been able to watch Ashley Zahn as she took over the basketball program, I was with her last year, get into the wrestling room with Coach Caper, which that was an experience. I was glad he didn't drag me out on the mat for that, for a demonstration. And just to see Jen, I was hoping to make it to the ski hill this year, but the hockey season was demanding both varsity and my kids, so I decided that I was going to see her in action with the lacrosse team. Very excited to pull into the parking lot at 6 a.m. and see those stadium lights on so I could drop my bags off and head out to the field. But just as she said, this is a collaborative effort. It's professional development. I couldn't tell you any of the rules about girls lacrosse, but I could tell you that that group of girls, not only are they talented, but they are passionate. They are fiery. They work hard. They push each other. And with Jen's impact and Jamie especially kind of returning to the program when she was there, obviously years ago, it was really good for me to see their coaching style because I'm, again, like Dewey and a lot of our staff, I want to learn and I want to see what other people do. And seeing Steve, who's a legendary soccer coach and just a phenomenal human being out on the soccer field with his team, it just gave me a lot of positive things to bring back to my coaching and my teaching so I can continue to be a better version for our athletes. So definitely I looked at it as a moment of professional development for us. The collaboration piece is incredible. We all come up with our own little slogan and we kind of live by, that and kind of contribute. And it was just really awesome to see how different sports and how different coaches manage their team in different situations, obviously, both whatever challenges they're facing. And, congratulations to Jen and the girls lacrosse program. 3 state titles in a row is pretty unbelievable. So the fact that I was able to witness the last practice on Corbett Field for a lot of those seniors is definitely a moment I'm going to remember. And I'm very thankful for the structure that we've set up because it's definitely helped me grow as a professional coaching. So, and thank you again for your time tonight.
So I want to thank Mr. Weimer, Mr. Souza, and Mrs. Haggerty for a very comprehensive explanation of how comprehensive our focus is on athletics. Any questions from the board?
Just a comment that was quite informative. Thank you. I mean, that was great.
Yeah, thanks for
Appreciate
sharing. I love hearing that collaboration. It's awesome.
They're the all-star team for sure.
Yeah. Who knew?
Thank you so much.
I just also like to say thank you and recognize the fact that we celebrate our student athletes, which was amazing. And we celebrate student achievement many times throughout the year, which is amazing. And the coaches are to the student athletes as the teachers are to the students. And I know there's a statistic nationally that the people who influence student athletes the most, if you put them in order, it goes parents, teachers, coaches, but then the spoiler alert is that's in reverse order. It's actually coaches, teachers, parents, and that should not frighten parents. That just means those individuals spend that much time with your children and impact them so greatly. So thank you for doing all that stuff, not just here, but in the trenches and the day-to-day.
Thank you.
Okay, item 7C is our capital project update. Dr. Terranova and Derek Lace.
I'm turning it over to Mr. Valise. We do not have a PowerPoint, correct? Oh, you do have one? That's the only slide? That's wonderful.
We only have a slide because of Mrs.
This capital
Bull, too.
project update. I like that. Thank you.
So,
And it's a capital V, too.
yes.
So there you go.
V for Victor. Yes. A little bit. We've got small victories to talk about. So in the first iteration of the state, when we submitted our plans back in the middle of February, they came back and they told us, so we're talking about two different buildings, the intermediate school and the junior and senior high. In the state's eyes, that's one building. They told us in both of their calculations after we submitted our request for the preliminary review that both buildings, based off of their calculation, had 16 too many classrooms as is. Shortly after that time, Dr. Terranova, myself, Mr. Marshall, our architect, Karen, our assistant superintendents, we met with SED. We talked about our challenges and what our goals and what we were looking to do. And based off of that information, we supplied them with additional information on April 1st. And that's not an April Fool's joke. It took several weeks, and we kept hearing that we were going to hear from them in the very near future, and we heard about this very near future for about 6 weeks. So we had different definitions of what that meant. Last week, I was in Saratoga for the state business official conference, not for the Belmont Stinks. And Sarah Madison, the head of facilities planning, did a presentation. After her presentation, I was first in line. There was a line of school districts looking for her attention. And we had a very quick dialogue. It was the last session right before lunch. Nobody wanted to be there. But I felt it was very important to get in front of her. And with that, it seemed to have progressed. So last week, we did get a response from them. And we supplied additional information. And surprisingly, they got back to us on Monday. So just an update of where we're at right now. As of right now, of the 5 classrooms at the intermediate school, they have approved aid for 3 of them, which is a great success. The cafeteria they're still pushing back on that, and we expected that. The junior senior high, now they have said that we have exactly enough classes, but one thing that we learned in the second calculation was how they're calculating it. So we have made some changes the last couple days. Our architect has revised plans. We've met with Mrs. Finter, Mrs. Ryan, Mr. Siesto to revise those plans to adapt it to the calculations. So we believe that after we do a submittal, probably tomorrow morning, that based off of how we understand the calculation, we believe that we should be able to be aidable for 6 of the classrooms in that new addition. Currently, they did approve for 1 secure vestibule because, again, in their mind, that is 1 building. So we have a justification. Again, I thank Mrs. Finter for that, for justifying and basically saying these are 2 different populations. When families are coming into the buildings, they are coming to different main offices. So we're going to provide that justification, and hopefully they will support the 2nd vestibule. But we have had some small wins in the last couple weeks. Our aidability currently on the intermediate school edition is at 40%. Unfortunately, junior, senior high, we're still at 2%, but we're hoping to get to 40 to 50% on that one as well, based off of the updated information. So, any questions about where we're at?
Keep up the good work. I mean, I don't know what else to.
Someday we're going to have a vote. It'll be great. No, I want to thank Derek, seriously, for the work he and the team is doing, along with our architects, to continually give more information that this the state agency is asking for, to whittle away at getting more aid. The fact that you approved as a board, as part of the consent agenda, the amount of money that's going to go into our capital reserve from the contingency from this year, which is also going to really supplement any type of tax increase for the capital project. We're headed in the right direction thanks to Derek's leadership, and we are hopeful to be coming soon to the board with a final proposal that you can vote on, and then a fall vote on this really critically important project.
It sounds like it's very much an exercise in patience, endurance, focus, and confidence. And I would just say this board says thank you to you for leading that charge for the district.
Thank you. And one question that has come up in the last couple of meetings about this, I do want to let you know that on Monday we are meeting with Campus Construction, who is our construction manager, just to review the numbers and make sure that we're still in a good spot. So I know that that question has come up because this process has been 18 to 24 months. Is the budget appropriate? So we're going to go, we have a meeting again on Monday to shore up those numbers again. So in our next update, we should be able to provide some more information in regards to the cost.
Okay, good work. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, item 7D is to approve the following field trip. Girls varsity soccer team to Livonia on August 31st through September 1st. So I need a motion, please. Elizabeth, I heard.
It's Brian, it's fine.
And Brian, second.
Yep.
Sorry.
Sorry, my left ear is stronger, apparently. Any comments or questions about this one? No. All in favor, say aye.
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 Aye. Any opposed? Motion carried. Thank you. Item 7E is a policy review. That's the first reading of the Code of Conduct, Policy 5300. You saw the highlighted changes in the policy that we received in our packet. Any comments or questions at this point? Seeing none. Item 8 is meeting updates. Monroe County School Boards Association committee reports. Anyone?
We want to thank the Monroe County School Board Association for hosting their annual end of the year dinner and their meeting and annual report, election of their new president. It's always a really, really great event with passionate people with a common goal on raising the level of education in this county. And so I was grateful to attend that with my colleagues, and they can say more to that.
Yes, the annual meeting, it was excellent, I thought, and always informative. Anything else?
Agreed.
Okay. Standing committee updates? Anyone?
This is a question for Derek. I know I'm on the facilities committee. I mean, because of the delay, that's probably one of the reasons. It's just a nod. It's one of the reasons that there hasn't been a lot of meeting on that, because of the delay. Okay, I appreciate that. Thanks. I didn't know if I was missing anything, but.
Okay, item 9 is the upcoming events, our reorganizational and regular board meeting hosted by Maureen. Will be Thursday, July 11th, right here. And then for the good of the district, Kristen.
So I have an update. First of all, I want to congratulate the district. It's an incredible year, sport teams and everything. And one thing that came through is support and the community and everybody rallying around. And I would be remiss to not thank my fellow board members for the support that I've had in my service on the board. In navigating an ever-changing landscape in my personal and professional life, I want to inform the community and the leadership and all the members who have been so supportive of me in this district that I'm going to be resigning my seat for the final year of my term, effective June 30th. And I can't be more grateful for the work that I've been able to be a part of. My children who've been part of this district sent me down a road of commitment, and it continued even after they graduated. I am not going anywhere. I just really need to focus on so many beautiful things on the outside of my life. So I thank you for your understanding. I wanted to be transparent. I didn't want to step away without an explanation. It's very celebratory, so I'm deeply grateful for, again, the support. This has not been an easy decision. And I was talking with Dr. Parks. I'm immersed in all this greatness, and I just kept saying to myself, am I doing the right thing, doing the right thing? And I need to be fearless, authentic. It's important. And I echo the gratitude. Thank you for your support, everybody.
Okay, and I also want to thank you, Kristen. Again, as an educator, you bring that perspective that is so valuable to this board. Your guidance, your knowledge. Another person that's smarter than me. So I appreciate that. A lady with a heart of gold always has the best interest of our students in mind and in her decisions and how she contributes to this board. So thank you for all of that, and thank you for being here. Yeah. Okay, anything else for the good of the district? Motion to adjourn? Brian? Oh.
I'll jump in.
Okay.
Why not?
Kristen? Second?
Ryan?
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? We have had a meeting. Thank you, everyone.